Do I gotta wear that metal thing, though? Can I change my helmet? I kind of like the low V, though. Oh my god. Yeah, we're just gonna have to fix that. Oh, she is hideous.
Several months later.
We've come a long way, chat. I'm not gonna be here for 8 hours. Okay. I'm gonna throw some hair on her. Gosh, she's still kind of... I don't know what I'm... She still kind of looks like... You know what I mean? Okay, I think this is like, if I keep at it, I'm never gonna play. As I continue to make changes. Okay, it's fine. Is it fine? Okay, yes. You spent all that time doing the face? I can't be having a busted looking character.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Saladino.
Dreams what I'm chasing, flow hot as chafing. This is why I'm hot, no, that is why I'm blazing.
So Concord's come out. Concord is this first-person shooter that looks a lot like Overwatch, at least ostensibly, by way of Guardians of the Galaxy. The big thing that people were clowning on it when it was first showcased is, of course, the characters having pronouns. And they also look terrible. They're clearly all created from that DEI checklist. I mean, they look terrible. They're some of the worst looking characters I've ever seen in a game, first-person shooter or otherwise. They look terrible. So people have been clowning on it, and what's happened in response to that, in some corners online, Concord has become part of this backlash to anti-woke messaging, anti-woke ideas, whatever. And the thing about the anti-woke backlash, it isn't coming from woke people. It's not coming from the SJWs, the cancel pigs. They've already been obviously doing their best to attack people who are against their agenda. But it's coming from people who you would consider a part of the anti-woke community, if you can call this a community. It's just the people who are on the side of anti-woke. People who are anti-woke have now been going after other people who are anti-woke, and they're doing it in this way of either someone who's anti-woke is a grifter, or they're being unreasonable, or they're just being hateful or pushing hate to be hateful. They're just doing it to be doing it. Like, it doesn't come from a deeper appreciation of games in general. It doesn't come from generally believing what they say. They just want to be mad and they just want to attack things. So, say with Concord, sort of the backlash to the anti-woke criticism of Concord is to say, well, at least it's an original IP. We tell these woke activists in gaming and in gaming press, if you want this stuff so much, put it in your own shit. Don't put it in the stuff I like. Don't take Lara Croft. Don't take Tomb Raider and make her a DEI latent, whatever. Like, don't make her DEI. Don't turn Spider-Man into some DEI agenda-driven BS. Do it to your own original IPs. And so at least Concord is doing that. And Concord is his original, quote-unquote, original IP. So if they want to have pronouns, they want to have these stupid-looking characters, if they want to defeat the male gaze, if they want to push body positivity and gender nonconformity, all this stuff, fine. At least you know it's not for you. It's not for you. It's made for a modern audience, and it's not attached to an IP that you care about or love. So I was going to take a look at this sort of argument because on the surface, I see it. When I saw Concord, I'm like, I'm not interested in this. This is not even my genre. I don't care about multiplayer, first-person shooters or anything like that. These characters are clearly not made to appeal to gamers. So that's the thing. So that's a very balanced, nuanced take to say at least it's an original IP that's not hurting any of your beloved IPs, and it's there for people who want to play it. Sort of like Barbie. Barbie's not made for me. I'm not interested in changing it to suit my tastes. Now, because of that Barbie movie, I could see people going after it because of the feminist messaging in it. And even if to me, it doesn't matter. If they want to have that message in Barbie, it's theirs. They can do whatever they want with it. My thing is I can get people complaining about that because it's like you're spreading an agenda in a popular culture icon that really wasn't meant for that. And you're going to be raising more women, more young girls or whatever to see men in this light, to create more feminists. And feminists have been so destructive in culture for a long time now. So in that sense, going after it makes sense. So you look at Concord and you're like, okay, it's not made for me. But then who is it made for? That's the take I wanted to go past just being fair and balanced and saying, at least they're doing their own thing. It's not for me. It's fine for whoever wants it. But who wants something like this? The game's come out in beta. It's a failure. All this time and money spent making this game, designing these stupid looking characters, and there's no return on investment. There can be very little return on investment. I think somebody said, because in the first place, why does this cost any money to begin with? Why isn't it a free-to-play game? You know, like the First Descendant. Why do you have to pay for the game up front? It doesn't make any sense. And I think it was Griffin Gaming. Somebody said, basically, they knew that this was going to flop right out the gate, which is why they decided to charge up front for it, to get whatever they could out of whoever was interested in trying it out before it eventually shuts down within a year or so. And that's probably what it is. Very cynical. So you look at this game, and yeah, it's not for you. It's not for people who don't want DEI bullshit in a game. They don't want these ugly characters. And that's the thing, again, about Concord. These are some of the ugliest characters I've ever seen in a group setting like this. And there is no room there's no variety in it, rather. There's no room in their minds to give you a hot character. And that's because they know everybody would just play the hot character. They're not going to let you, they don't want you to have choice. The whole point of this DEI stuff is to push their agenda down your throat. And they know it's not natural. They know it's not appealing, which is why they have to take away your options. They have to say, this is all you get, and choose out of this pool of weirdos and freaks. It's hard to believe that people spent so much time designing these characters. On your work day, you have to look at these hideous characters. You have to animate these stupid characters. It must be so depressing to go to work and see this. Now, a lot of these people have bought into the DEI stuff. So maybe to them, they really do think that they're making a big change to the world by making these boring, dull, hideous characters. But it's got to be just regular grunts designing and programming this stuff. Who are like, man, I remember a time when I could be sculpting this beautiful, amazing looking girl like the bunny chick in First Descendant. Now I got to make this piece of crap character Daw. I wanted to get into a visual medium so I can create these really cool, attractive, like sexy characters and make these badass looking characters. But now, no, I have to make people who look like, I think somebody said it, that they look like people you'd meet at Walmart in midnight or something. So get the thing about this is an original IP. So if you want to do this, that's what we've been telling them to do. And that's great. But going beyond that, the deeper sort of question about this is, if it's not for me, and I'm the average typical gamer who wants to see cool looking characters, hot looking characters, fun characters, I don't want to play games where they are worried about gender ideology, because it's not a real thing. That's not a thing that normal everyday people care about or talk about. This is like, and I said this before, the whole thing with pronouns and stuff. It's like people who say play D&D, go out into the real world and expect people to refer to them by their role-playing name. It's like most people are not out in the world. The average person doesn't play D&D. Why would you expect them to call you the Prince of Darkness or whatever? And that's this thing about the pronoun stuff. Most people don't have gender dysphoria. Most people don't care about this very small-minded collection of weirdos who are obsessed with things like gender ideology, where they pretend to believe that there's no difference between men and women. And when they put this stuff in practice, like with all these hideous characters in Concord, you could see clearly that if they thought this was something that people naturally wanted and naturally would gravitate towards, they would give you a range of different looking type of characters. They all wouldn't be ugly, right? They would be some really typical, basic ones that they know, okay, so we want lots of people to come to play this game. Let's give the people who like the bunny girl. Let's give the people who like whatever, right? No, they just give you, this is what people are supposed to have in games, not what they want. This is what they're supposed to have. And if they don't want that, they're racists and homophobes and transphobes and all this stuff. And they I don't know why they think this. They think that this is a winning strategy. And they're mad that people are clowning on this game for failing. And they're trying to defend something that really isn't defensible. Because again, if you have this take, this balanced, nuanced take to say, well, it's not for me, but I don't have a problem with it existing. And we shouldn't just go after it for doing what we told them to do. Put this stuff on your own original IPs. Yeah, that's fine. But then when you think about gaming as a whole, this is all we're getting. Whether it's an original IP or it's Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man, we're getting this DEI stuff. And a game like this just shows, and I know they've been working on it probably for a few years, but a game like this shows that they're still fully committed to something that they see has failed and failed time and time again. This is probably not going to be, and whenever this game goes, they're probably going to try to do something else. Because now you don't just have the journos and the activists who are against people who don't want this woke bullshit in their hobby. You have people who are supposedly anti-woke also attacking people who are anti-woke. So Concord, I don't know. I didn't have anything really profound to say about Concord itself. Just to me, the idea that at least they're doing their own thing. It's for a particular audience. But the thing is, there isn't really an audience for this. People who care about this stuff, their hobby isn't video games. Their hobby isn't anime. Their hobby is complaining about this stuff that's in the media. They might gravitate to certain popular projects and IPs, but you see time and time again, they immediately start complaining about elements they don't like about it. If a character has big boobs, they'll start complaining. If a character is not typically feminine, it's a female character, she's not typically feminine for one reason or another, they'll suddenly adopt her and say that she's trans, that she's actually born male, but is now representing or presenting as a woman. They won't just accept that, no, it's a tomboy. They're like, no, this person is trans. So you have people who are supposedly the audience for something like Concord, who supposedly want to play as these ugly, hideous, stupid-looking characters who have pronouns in their bio and stuff. You have these people, and you say that this is the audience, but these people wouldn't be here if this stuff wasn't popular. They're not actually an audience. They're like, you have a whale. They're like the little leeches or the barnacles on the whale. And even if it's clearly not for you or for me, for us, there's no problem with people criticizing it, making fun of it, because again, they're putting this stuff in a hobby that generally doesn't ask for this, doesn't want this. It's stuff that they're forcing into the hobby. So just because they're doing something that doesn't have an existing IP attached to it doesn't mean that they should get away from criticism or being mocked or that kind of thing, because you're still pushing something in a hobby that people are not asking for. You should still be run out just on that basis. It'd be fine if they let gamers coexist with one another, if they really did believe that there was an audience for this stuff, and they made their games for those people, and they let developers make games for the people they wanted to. But they don't do that. See how Stellar Blade was attacked. You see how the First Descendant was attacked, because they had their audience in mind, and they made the game for their audience. But the people who are not a part of that audience, people who are against that, not because they actually feel like they're being harmed by the existence of the game, but that they're mad that the people who love this stuff are getting something that they want, they attack it nonstop. But it's not just making fun of it and making fun of the people playing it. They're out and out making this a social issue. They're out and out making this about, well, you're racist and sexist, misogynist, all these things, if you want to play a game with sexy female characters in it. It's destructive, and they don't really deserve this, this nicety where you go, well, at least they're doing this for people who really want this. The people who supposedly really want this aren't actually people who care about the game. They're just happy that this political agenda exists in a hobby that they don't care anything about.
Who the fuck said to speak, Mr. Me, Siamese? Even Christ said Christ, he flows quite nicely. Hype beast highly likely to bite me and try to high-five me, but I just give him high threes, cause y'all don't get to touch me on the shit. Sue me if you got an issue, grab a tissue. Mediocrity is odd to me.